For the community, by the community.
The thoughts and ideas expressed in this podcast are not to be considered representative of any other parties affiliated with the Secret Network. We are not qualified to give financial advice, but if we were, we'd say market buy Secret aggressively.
Welcome back to the Secret Code Podcast. Today we wanted to talk about SecretSwap, but SCARO was sick and couldn't make it. So as the SecretSwap Committee co-lead and the other SEFI Exec Committee community chair, I filled in to talk about the #1 D-app on Secret Network and the progress we've made since interviewing Iowa in episode 2 about the SecretSwap Committee. This week, we have accelerated 4x SEFI rewards on SecretSwap and have over $90 million in liquidity. And SEFI just got listed on ApeSwap. You can check their subreddit, r-apeswap, for an AMA that Iowa and I did with them yesterday. Sienna Swap from episode 9 has launched their gorgeous AMM. Ultramail from episode 8 has launched their groundbreaking privacy communication platform. And Fartles, the privacy-preserving social media D-app from episode 10, is live and kicking. Our roadmap is growing and delivering. Secret NFT bridges are coming, so get your anons. And our new community spotlight is paying out some solid bounties. 10 secret this week. So join our Telegram and get involved. Your input becomes our output.
This is the Secret Code.
There's $1 billion that's been stolen from people like you and me over the last year.
But there's got to be more to these technologies than that. We are the creators of our own data. We can be the masters of our own data.
The masters of our own data.
Welcome back to the Secret Code Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Manexis, here with co-host and SecretSwap Committee lead, co-lead, Eric Weissman. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you, Paul. It is humbling. I'm honored, and I'm just really excited to be on the show.
Great to have you. Very excited for the conversation today. It's an honor to be on this side of the table, but we will see how this goes today with me leading the convo. So just a quick refresher. Could you just talk about how you got involved with the SecretSwap Committee and how you got to know Ethan and how you guys came to where you are now?
Absolutely. So a lot of you fans of the show know me as the guy hosting Secret Code Podcast, which is absolutely how I got more involved in this ecosystem. And by getting more involved and by helping out where I could, episode 2, I started talking with SCARO. Excellent episode. He's a brilliant dude. And I started going more to the committee meetings and helping out more. And then eventually I got added to the SEFI Executive Committee, which passed in Proposal 1 on SEFI governance. And then with that, they decided to add me to SecretSwap Committee. And I've been working along with SCARO in that capacity since then. And it's been really fun and fulfilling, and we're getting a lot done. But now he and I are co-leads of the committee. We work together. So I work with Paul on the podcast. I work with SCARO on the SecretSwap side. And he was actually supposed to be the guest today. He's really sick. So prayers for him. He's still here in my heart, though. I was really excited to show him this picture of our memories together. Much thanks to his wife, Cryptic Pixie, for that slight edit. My wife's a little pissed about it.
Very touching. Anyone who's watching the YouTube video or anyone listening to the podcast should definitely try and get a look at that picture Eric just showed. Classic. And I bet they can even alpha. They can get it on Fartles, if they're willing to spend a little secret. But yeah, thank you for that. So I guess let's get right into SecretSwap. Can you give a quick refresher to the audience about what SecretSwap is and what makes it different from competing apps, and what kind of big problems does it really solve?
Right. So SecretSwap was created because they've always had this idea: once Secret Network is up with their smart contracts, we're going to want AMMs and just really all kinds of applications built on that, because it just by default will solve a lot of problems. SecretSwap itself doesn't do anything special to stop front running. The fact that it's built on Secret Network means that it does. And so a quick refresher, front running is the idea that miners or anybody who can see the public transactions that are going through, like if you're like, I'm going to buy $10,000 worth of wrapped Bitcoin or something, they can see that transaction's going through and how much you spent in gas. And then before the block is actually signed, before it processes, they can actually buy that much first or more. They could buy that first and then put it at the bottom of the sell order and then sell it to you for like 1% more. And so you end up buying a little bit less than you had expected. They make that gap profit. And that can't be done on secret network because they can't see the live transactions because the computations are private. So that's the first key thing that SecretSwap really solved. But going forward, we plan to solve a lot more. There's just so much more that privacy and interchain operability will really bring to the end user.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's $1 billion problem plus, and front running is definitely not something allowed in the, in the traditional world. So it's crazy that I feel like the problem just gone this unnoticed, It's, again, I think it's mainly an education problem, but, awareness problem. But I think, again, as more people get hurt by it and as these apps get bigger and more users, there's just no way of really hiding it anymore. And I think SecretSwap is positioned perfectly to take advantage of it, of the new opportunities after. Could you talk a little bit about what coins are available? Are there any coins that you could find on SecretSwap that aren't available on any other exchanges?
Yeah, absolutely. So anybody can add a pair. It just might not get like SEFI rewards for liquidity provision, but any coin that's available on Secret Network through the Ethereum or Binance Smart Chain bridges and the plenty more bridges that we're working on, and pretty soon IBC, we're blowing up. It's expansive. But specifically, what's really exciting is Secret Monero. So we're the first platform to bring DeFi opportunities to Monero users because there's a trustless private bridge. And it's really cool. So now if you have Monero, you can go across the bridge, get Secret Monero. It's private on both sides and through. And then you can liquidity provide with Secret Monero as we build out more platforms. You can do lending. You can, everything that's available to DeFi as it gets built on Secret Network, you can interact with on Secret Monero. And if you're involved or have some particular, investor crush on some other BSC or ERC20 token, then you can talk to us and we could get it on the bridge and we can get it on Secret Network and put on SecretSwap. So,
no, that's incredible. That's extremely powerful, especially since, Monero users in particular have been basically just holding, there's really nothing else you can do. You're almost watching everyone else have all the fun. So I think it's great that Secret Network allows for that.
Same with Bitcoin, and people have been able to work with wrapped Bitcoin, which is on Ethereum, and then you can wrap wrapped Bitcoin in Secret Network and have secret wrapped Bitcoin. But Shinobi Protocol is actually coming out with just directly secret Bitcoin with a trustless bridge. It's actually super, super cool. And that's, I think, targeting late October. And so soon we'll have direct, you can go straight from your hodling Bitcoin straight over to secret and private DeFi. So that's a huge development.
It's awesome. Yeah, no, there's just so much going on. It's honestly very hard to keep up with. And I can't even imagine what it'll be like by end of year. The amount of news coming out, big projects, left and right. Quick question about your responsibilities for SecretSwap. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about, what a day-to-day looks like for you and Ethan and how you guys split up work. And if you could talk, a little bit of running, the committee calls and the executive committee.
Yeah. So we're kind of a two-man team right now, and we're expanding, which is great. We're fielding interviews, and we're going to get a team so that will respond to us and work directly with us, so we can finally fix the user experience right now. It leaves plenty to be desired, and we have tons to build in the short term, just fixing things, and tons to build in the long term to adapt and grow in a way that's going to be unique, sustainable, and brilliant. So we can't talk too much about it right now, but there's plenty to be excited about. But from the day-to-day basis, a lot of people were kind of concerned when we put our spend proposal up on SEFI governance, which with everything going down has been taken down, but we'll be going back up with it soon. And we're saying, we're working 40 hours a week on it. And honestly, we're working notably more than that, because everything that all the other committees do for Secret Network, we have to do for SecretSwap. And yes, it's a DApp, and it's not as big, I suppose, as Secret Network, obviously, but we're the awareness, we're the education, we're reaching out and trying to get people to do translations. We have so many calls, we have so many meetings. We're up at 2-3 in the morning meeting with third parties in India. We're reaching out to exchanges. Everything is us. And for divvying up the roles, we really have complementary strengths, and we work together really well. So we'll be on calls, and we kind of more have set roles based on what we're good at. He's much better at running the Twitter and announcements, and really, really good at ticket help and support. I'm Yeah, I'm pretty good at putting like bigger picture game plans together. And we're both making Google Docs. We have shared Google Drives where he's making kind of videos. I'm editing them. We're just everything. We work together. It's cool. We both set up meetings individually. We both try to bring people together on them.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's a grind, and you guys are definitely, trying to, again, SecretSwap was, I feel like, the first seed planted for Secret Network, and I feel like you guys are really, taking on the job of nurturing it and, helping it be Secret Network's, star pupil. So we're getting there. And I think you guys are putting in all the hard work, getting it onto new exchanges we'll talk about later. But great things. Super excited. Could you talk a little bit more about the executive committee, like what that is, just for anyone who's not familiar, and what you guys do with that?
Yeah. So if you want to read up a little bit about it, if you go to SecretSwap, secretswap.io, click use SecretSwap and go to the governance section. It'll say it's down for right now, but it's going to be back up soon. But all the way down to proposal 1, it proposes a SEFI executive committee, because the idea of SEFI governance is brilliant. It's the first provably accurate private on-chain voting system. But while it is a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, somebody has to enact what gets voted through governance. If we vote a buyback and burn or something like that, like, it doesn't just happen. Somebody has to move the keys behind the scenes. And so the SEFI Executive Committee was proposed as a kind of a conglomerate group to oversee governance and to make sure that things are getting developed. Because while decentralization is great, there does have to be some centralized group that will initiate drive. Same thing we talked about with Tor on the Secret Foundation. There has to be somebody that's getting resources into the proper places and making sure that we are getting developers. Like, if we weren't out actively fielding interviews right now, who's going to continue developing it? So the SEFI Executive Committee, based on the proposal, has 2 seats for Enigma, 2 seats for the community, and 1 for the foundation. Ethan and I are the 2 seats for the community, and then Tor is the foundation seat for the executive committee, and then Guy and Cashmani are the 2 Enigma seats. And so the 5 of us meet every week, and we go over plans, and Iowa and I will help make those happen and do everything we can and report back to them. And we've all 5 of us have worked together really well. I think that we're all pleasantly surprised at how well it's come together.
That's awesome. I think it's important because, especially with decentralization, again, it feels like democracy. It leads to slow decision making, and sometimes people need to take the reins and, actually execute rather than, sort of just pass around ideas. And I think that this is very complementary. They go hand in hand with the on-chain governance. And I guess even since Ethan was on, I think it was episode 2, on-chain governance was just, about to come out. That was one of the big things that were coming out back then, but now it's been out for a while. And, I was wondering if you could talk about a little bit more about it. I know you just touched on it right now, but talk about, its importance, maybe some proposals that have went through. I know that there was a buyback proposal that went through. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So our governance is absolutely revolutionary and breakthrough. I mean, I wish the United States had a provably accurate private voting system. We'd avoid a whole bunch of issues with taxpayer dollars right now. But it wasn't perfectly, set up in its integration. At least that's what governance has decided since then. So they kind of use the model for secret network governance, which is not private, but has successfully worked. Proposals have passed, proposals have failed. And the quorum, so the idea of quorum in this governance is how many people have to vote, or how much of the supply has to vote in order to say that it's enough to be a valid metric of the community, and that it should pass or fail. And so Secret Network has that at 33%. But Secret Network, the SCRT token, has delegated proof of stake, where the node operators, such as us, can actually vote for all of the people who are delegating to them, unless those people choose to vote differently. So, if our node votes yes or something, and then we disagree on it, we personally can vote no or abstain. But if you've got If you've got node operators that have 7, 8, 11 million secret, then all of a sudden you can add 10% and reach quorum really quickly. Whereas with SEFI, there is no group that can vote for somebody else, and we still have a 1 week timeline. So it's really hard to get all the holders who just want to stake and leave it for a couple weeks to come together and be like, you need to vote for this. And so nothing's actually reached quorum and failed. Just only 3 proposals out of 16 at this time have reached quorum. That was proposal 1 with the enactment of the SEFI Exec Committee, proposal 3 to lower cashback, which is interesting, and then proposal 14, which kind of took my idea of the buyback and burn, which I proposed in proposal 12, but didn't reach quorum for a couple issues, and it was able to get enough people to vote on it to pass this time around. And so with governance coming back now, we are changing it slightly. So we've already lowered quorum from 33 to 25%. But Stefan, our education committee lead, made a great point on the forums, which you can find at forum.scrt.network. And he talked about how other decentralized exchanges and AMMs either have quorum at like 5% or lower, or don't have quorum at all. And the higher voting turnouts would be like 3 or 4% because most people don't really care about using the things that they're doing to make money to govern the ecosystem. While, yes, SEFI is governance power, not everybody cares or wants to be bothered to vote on something and spend gas to do it every single week. So by lowering quorum to 5%, now people are going to have to vote. If you don't agree with something, if you think something's a poorly written proposal, you're going to have to vote no on it, because whoever proposes is probably going to vote yes, and it's going to be a lot easier to reach quorum, but it also makes it a lot easier for the community to get their voices heard. Because with a private voting system, we don't even know how close things were to quorum. Something could be at 32%. And all of them vote yes, and we just don't know because it's private.
Right. Yeah. No, that's one of the next questions I was going to ask with privacy, the pros and the cons. It almost eliminates the political game where you're trying to maybe field votes from some people who haven't voted. And that's sort of taken away. But then again, you have that privacy, so you don't feel pushed to vote a specific way. I was wondering if you could maybe talk about a little bit more about the pros and cons. Is there,
from a game theory perspective, it really is radically different from a public voting system, which is awesome and scary and just kind of different to consider. Because like if you go to secret network voting system and go on governance, like even proposals that are hotly debated on the forums will then pass, and a lot of it's we can tell who's voting what because the secret token is public. Which is good, and it's great for regulation. At the same time, it's like we don't want the community spend the community pool to become a slush fund, and so people will like debate something like, "Oh, this is terrible. I don't want to pass it," but then like not want to make enemies. And whereas in SEFI governance, you can talk up all the game you want. You could be like, "Oh yeah, no, I love you guys," and then vote no, and we're not going to know if you want to vote for Ethan and I to not get paid and to not keep working on this. Like, we won't know. You can do that and still be buddies to our face, and it won't cause a whole bunch of drama, which is cool, but yeah, very, very different.
Could like just total vote be public, or like can basically all of it has to be private? Because even that information, so you don't even need to know who voted what, but even just total votes, if you need to be, more urgent with it.
Yes. So every single governance proposal has a new secret contract that gets interacted with. So if you figure out what that contract is, you can like kind of go to secretnodes.com, which is our explorer on Secret Network, run by Secret Nodes. We had Nodefather on in episode 5, great dude. And you can kind of see how many people interact with it. And people can interact with it multiple times, but it should give you an idea of how many people voted. But again, since it's the number of SEFI that voted that matter, and that's super gameable. Like I can have 20 different wallets with one SEFI vote, and people will think that there's high interaction, and then we'll find out after the voting period of 1 week, after it gets revealed that like, oh, it didn't reach quorum at 5%. That's weird. So based on lowering quorum will help a lot because we'll get more analytics. We'll see the yes to no ratio if things meet quorum. But right now, we only see the yes to no ratio if things meet quorum. So, I mean, quorum could be gotten rid of. I'm sure it could be changed. The idea of having private by default smart contracts is we can program in transparency. So something like that's absolutely possible and important to us.
Right. Oh, definitely. So I guess transitioning back into specific proposals, I wanted to touch on cashback and the burn back. So if you could just go a little more in details for each of them and, the importance of getting those passed, what kind of problems did they solve by getting them passed, and, yeah, if you just have your own opinion that you'd like to touch on.
Yeah. So the cashback one was interesting. Cashback was really brilliantly developed. And I mean, our Enigma team is known for being brilliant developers. And it really was a groundbreaking idea of how to properly reward traders. And the SEFI token didn't have an IDO. It didn't have a team getting the first initial allotment. Whereas like most AMMs or companies or projects that are built, they'll do some kind of fundraising to help support the team. We didn't do that. That wasn't a thing. And so it was fair in that it was originally given to SEFI stakers and liquidity providers and people who use the bridge. And then now as it rolls out, it was given to liquidity providers and stakers. And then they figured you should also be giving it to the traders because they should be earning governance power if they're the ones using it and making it valuable. And it's really cool the way they did it. That being said, while it does incentivize trading volume, as far as the SEFI token works, if there's no volume-based value capture, then incentivizing trading doesn't really help it. Because yes, while the volume looks good and whatnot, the volume doesn't mean anything because all you're doing is you're covering the trading fees for traders, and then they can just sell that too. So people are arbitraging at an easy profit because there are no fees. And so I think the community got a little upset about that. Enigma actually publicly opposed the cashback reduction proposal being passed. And that kind of shows how decentralized SEFI really is because the community passed it anyways. That's interesting. They decided to reduce it by 95%. So it's pretty much nerfed. Like we're already uncertain, like, do we even bring it back? What's the point? And ongoing conversations about that just because it is so minuscule at this point. Like if 0.3% go to trading fees and you get 0.05% of that going back in cashback, which is kind of the rate it would be, it's a really small number. So, I think now that the buyback and burn has been passed, and once it gets instituted again, then cashback gets a lot more interesting because then, we do want volume because as there is volume, we're going to be adding buying pressure and not replacing it with selling pressure to SEFI. And so now that we'll finally have volume-based value capture, it will kind of game out a little bit better.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think something needed, some kind of mechanisms needed to be there, especially to complement cashback. And I think, the burn proposal, the buyback and burn will really do that. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out once the volume and the liquidity do come, because it will come.
The liquidity. Our liquidity is up over $80 million now as we're doing the Forex rewards right now, which is helpful. But the liquidity is here. People are using it. The trading volume's here. So I wish we had Prop 14 enacted already. But yeah, I'm really excited. And I think another thing with the cashback is it was kind of the community like taking a stand. Some people were frustrated that the cashback was instituted before governance was out. That being said, I mean, people were rolling things out and doing things at the pace they could. And you don't want development to stop. So now that I think sentiment is growing on SEFI and SecretSwap in general, and the community is realizing that we do have the control, me, a community member and representative. And I'm going to personally try to make a bit of a push to keep cashback and maybe raise it back a little bit just once we have the buyback and burn enacted, because burn SEFI, burn it to the ground, keep reducing supply.
Oh yeah. No, definitely. I think that wraps it up, and we will move forward, to what's to come. But until then, let's do the viewing key.
Let's look into the viewing key.
I've never been on this side of it before. I'm so nervous.
The question is, why do you have a secret network? The question is, why don't you everywhere else?
I was so ready to have a question for Iowa, and now you've got something special for me. So what do we got?
Now you're in the hot seat. So the question is, how many nodes have over 1 million in delegations? Is it A, 15, B, 19, C, 23, or D, 27?
15, 19, 23, 27?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, man, that's an excellent question. Could it be 36? I know that's about where we are.
That's very far off.
So number one's at like 11.5 million, but then it drops off pretty quickly. But I know there are quite a few around like the 1 to 3 million. I don't think it's as high as 20. I'm gonna go with B, 19.
Incorrect.
No.
It's actually D, 27. I was very surprised when I looked this up. Yeah, 27. More than half of the nodes have over 1 million in delegations.
Dude, we gotta step up, man.
I know. We're in the minority right now. So very interesting. Better luck next time. If there even is a next time, we'll see.
Oh, I've finally been stumped. Asaf, this is for you. Excellent question, Paul. And yeah, that's awesome to show, to kind of show the decentralization of the network, the fact that many do have that high of a delegation. And that's kind of important as to not only secure the network, but as we have airdrops coming, like the Shade Silk airdrop coming out, that's going to be for not only Secret Network, but also for Atom and Luna stakers. So anyone really involved in the Cosmos ecosystem, stake your tokens, stake them to delegators that don't have 0% commission and ones ideally lower. And I know that their team's very particular about incentivizing decentralization. And yeah, it's good. And also new community members that are looking for a way to help out, run a node, secure the network. Hopefully you'll get delegations, but obviously a lot of people can get up to 1 million. So let's keep spreading the love.
Yeah, no, definitely. Exciting stuff ahead. And so that brings us to what's exciting for SecretSwap to come. Some very recent news is actually the listing on ApeSwap. I was wondering if you could talk about that ApeSwap listing and just listing opportunities in general. How did you find the process to be? And do you have any in mind for the future?
Yeah, so excellent question. I know as a community member myself, I've always been curious as to what kind of discussions do go on behind the scenes with the exchanges and what all is required. And so we had a great time negotiating and talking with ApeSwap, and we're really glad to have specifically a Binance Smart Chain pairing. If you use bridge.scrt.network, which is kind of how to go in and out of the Secret Network ecosystem, where you can take your Ethereum or your Binance or your Monero or your BSC and ERC20 tokens, you can move them into the secret versions of them. But the secret token is not available on the Binance Smart Chain bridge. And the reason for that is Binance actually owns the contract. That way they can do withdrawals, from their network. So you can withdraw Binance or secret from Binance on the Binance Smart Chain, or they own that contract. And we don't want to share a contract with them because then there's a bunch of weird issues, and we don't want to have two different SCRT contracts. So it kind of locks Secret out of the Binance Smart Chain, which is weird because that's really the bridge that we want to use, because the fees are less than $1. Whereas I tried to use the Ethereum bridge the other day and the fees were going to be $270. I was like, better not. So, I mean, that's Ethereum. It's unusable for your everyday person. But SEFI is not limited in that capacity. And SEFI has tons of liquidity on SecretSwap. So we want to get SEFI BSC pairings, and ApeSwap's a great place to go. They have over $500 million in TVL and liquidity. And we were able to work it out where we put some SEFI in there for stakers, and they give us their banana token for liquidity providers and start off with some initial liquidity. So those are the primary requirements, negotiations. And now if you're liquidity providing SEFI with BNB on ApeSwap, you're earning bananas, and you're making it easier for people to onboard onto Secret Network. Because if you're currently in the Binance Smart Chain ecosystem, if you're using ApeSwap, if you have BNB tokens or whatnot, then you can just go buy SEFI and bring it right across the bridge. Super easy. I mean, you can bring your BNB across the bridge too, but SEFI has the most liquidity, and the more listings we get for the most part, the better. We do want to spread out and make SEFI more available for as many users as possible.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's very important, this listing. I think it sets the precedent for what's to come, and again, big things ahead. And I guess moving on, I was wondering if you could talk about the 4 times rewards program. That's another thing that I feel like on top of the listings is going to really help, draw attention and draw liquidity and really push SecretSwap to the next level.
Yes. So there was a strange incident in mid-September, early to mid-September, where one of our staking contracts was exploited. So it wasn't SecretSwap got hacked or Secret Network wasn't secure. It was one of our old staking contracts that hadn't been revisited since we had opened new staking contracts, and some bad actor was able to get in and try to withdraw liquidity that wasn't his and trade for other assets and tried moving them. And we as a network got together immediately. We shut down all the bridges, locked the money in there, and that's why we reset from Secret 2 to Secret 3, where we were able to go back before that block, fix the contract. And that's why SecretSwap was down. The SEFI contract and earn rewards were down for a while. And a lot of people were upset. And we had said there's going to be an airdrop. And then we realized that it wasn't practical. But it was scary. It was our first time dealing with something like that. But the community came together. All the validators came together and upgraded the chain like super fast. I know you and I were a part of that. You did a great job. We were one of the first nodes up. But yeah, we saved everyone's money. We did a good job. This is DeFi. It is scary. I mean, Rune and Thorchain is a fantastic project, and they got hacked a couple times. But we saved the money, and we froze everything. That's why our governance proposal got taken down. But we did want to incentivize the people that held through and got liquidity. And since the rewards were down for about 4 weeks, we wanted to give that out faster. So unfortunately, rewards that were unclaimed at the time, since the claiming rewards process is what actually mints the tokens, those were kind of burned forever. So about a little bit over 4.8 million SEFI have been burned, which lowers the total supply by about 0.5%, which is interesting. But it also does suck if you've been like staking for a couple months and you haven't claimed your rewards. But again, if you're involved in DeFi and liquidity provision, do keep your eye on it. It's not as secure as just staking your secret or something. So we decided to re-incentivize liquidity and try to catch up to date on the rewards. And so we accelerated our rewards. They're doing about 4x rewards for 1 week. It started on Thursday. It will go again till next Thursday. And so during that time, instead of 1.3 million CFI going out per day in the current high inflation rate, it's going to be about 5.2 million. And so load up. Like, now is your chance, because not only is it going to go back to 1.3 million or soon, but then there's a halving every year, and the rewards are going to keep going down as we keep building and growing. So this is really a unique opportunity to load up while it's here.
Oh, yeah. No, the way I imagine it, it's almost like a fire hydrant, just like fire hose, just spitting out CFI rewards. So you better bank up now, because, it's either definitely not a now or never situation, but it definitely pays to be early, as with most things.
There's a movie called UHF that stars Weird Al Yankovic, and it's a strange movie, but one of the weird cutscenes is in the TV show they have is, "You're a lucky boy. You get to drink from the fire hose," and just spray little kid against the wall. That's how I feel right now. Trying to absorb all the CFI I can right now.
Oh yeah. Worth it. Totally worth it. Okay, so that's all that's happening on SecretSwap's end in terms of rewards right now. But we also have a new DEX on Secret Network in the secret finance space, Sienna Swap. And I was wondering if you could talk about their DEX a little bit and how their presence impacts SecretSwap.
Yeah, so Sienna's live. Yeah, we had Monty Munford on the show, the Sienna evangelist. Wonderful guy. We had a great time with him. Really cool. But yeah, they're finally live. They have a beautiful UX. There were a couple hiccups when it went live, but everything's working and fully functional right now. And so now we're not the only AMM that's offering this privacy and this front running resistance, and it's awesome. And some people are like, "Are you guys competing?" And we're not trying to fight for a tiny pie. We're going to grow this pie exponentially, and we're both going to continue to grow in different directions. I know they have Sienna Lend on the roadmap. We don't have a Lend program on the roadmap, but we have other things in the roadmap that will actually work well with them. And they've actually also stuck out an olive branch. You can liquidity provide, and you can incentivize liquidity provide and earn Sienna by doing it between CFI and Sienna. So I know a lot of people were worried about us fighting. We're not. We have very amicable relationships, and Sienna's going to succeed, and they're wonderful, and SecretSwap's going to succeed, and we're wonderful. It's if you can get involved in these platforms now, you're in the early stages.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That was, again, one thing that I was always not necessarily worried about, but just curious of how it would play out, because you never really know. But I think it's very encouraging seeing the first few steps taken and seeing how, both will complement each other and almost try and deliver the complete package along with anything else that's going to come in addition for, secret finance. And yeah.
And a little plug. A little plug for them. You can find them at sienna.network. And for their incentivized pairs, a lot of them you need the Sienna token. But actually, if you're a Monero user and interested in this, for 24% of their rewards will go to people who are liquidity providing with secret Monero on one side of it. So I know we've got the SEFI SXMR pair on SecretSwap, which is wonderful and highly incentivized. But they have a lot of high incentivized pairs for Monero there. So we need more Monero into DeFi. And Monero people need access to DeFi. So I think we're going to get more use of that bridge pretty soon. Oh, yeah. No, I think anytime anything new comes out, especially from a community like Monero, I feel like they're rightfully skeptical. And, it's going to take a little bit of time as they see more and more money flowing into it and more usage coming out of it. It's going to be something that, they really can't ignore. And I think a lot of them are going to jump on the opportunity as time passes. It's going to be very exciting. And I think, we're at this inflection point. Going back to what you were saying with your roadmap being different from Sienna, we know that they have the Lend coming out. I was wondering if you could talk about what is on that roadmap and what else is in store for SecretSwap. So one of the things we've been asked to do by the executive committee is Iowa and I have made a vision statement, which is not public at this time, but we have like the kind of 0 to 1 month things we want to do, which is a lot of bug fixes and UI upgrades. Adding the APR to APY hover graphic where we're not constantly getting in Telegram like it says 1000% and I'm getting 200%. Like you need to convert APR to APY, and that should be up there for them. In general, there are a lot of things we can do with the UI to make it prettier and easier to use. We know that, and we're going to do that. Then we have like a 1 to 3 month section of like kind of midterm goals, like some applications to roll out and things to kind of give more utility to SeFi and grow the network. And then we also have like a long-term vision, like 3 to 6 and plus months. And that's where we're really excited on how we can evolve SecretSwap. And I'm not going to go too much into detail with it right now, but I'm good at game theory. Iowa's great at ideas, and we're collaborating really well. Our plans have been received very well by the people we've talked to about it, and we're assembling a team to kind of go in that direction. And it will value capture for SeFi, and it will bring tons of utility to the entire ecosystem and work well with Sienna. That is awesome. There's no alpha you can share in terms of a specific project? Not at this time. But as far as applications, obviously the lottery should be coming out this month, which will be awesome and burn SeFi and be fun. There are some games that we could add, like not just like gambling games or whatnot, but for like a midterm goal, we could do things like gamified NFTs maybe. And we haven't started building it yet, but we do have the groundwork laid out. And so we're assembling a team, and something like that would be where there are different NFTs you can earn and or buy that would give you higher weights in liquidity provision and also have value. And now that Stash is coming out and secret NFTs are about to go to the moon, and get yourself an anon while you can. So anons are actually super cool. The more you learn about them, the more impressed you are. So obviously a lot of NFTs will have royalties. Well, a lot of the royalties that are going to exist from people aftermarket selling their anons are going to be split amongst the other anon holders. So it's kind of going to be its own unique community. And I know I'm getting me one. Oh, yeah. No, that's awesome. Thank you for touching on the NFTs. I feel like, any kind of usage in all aspects of the network, wherever you can find the usage, it's great, to really just show that. Again, I think it's without doubt that there is value in that kind of technology, but to see it already being used is, again, very encouraging. And I'm very excited to see what's to come. So that brings us to our community highlight question.
Community Spotlight.
So this question is from Chris. Thank you, Chris. It is, where do you see the balance of open source versus secrecy in the development of SecretSwap and the wider secret network ecosystem?
That is an awesome question. So thank you, Chris. I think that we're very committed to open source, and the idea of our idea of privacy is more privacy than secrecy, and we call it secrets because the idea is that it should be private until we choose to share it with somebody. But with most of the things we build, we do want to share it. And so I know there's some aspects of SecretSwap that aren't fully open source right now as we've made some changes, but most of that is primarily because of the exploit that we took some things down to make sure that they were fixed. And we're working on getting SecretSwap audited just for the extra stamp of approval, even though we know it is fixed. But that will also help with like some reaching out to third parties if they're like, there was an exploit and like we get requests from tons of people. We do want to know that you guys are audited. And so I think that we're committed to open source and we're going to leave the secrecy aspect of it in the actual protocol itself.
That is awesome. I think that's a good approach. I think, again, it is something very interesting, open source really is, this way to almost have, trustless, there's no need to really, just trust people's word. You can trust the code, that's up and running. I think that's a very powerful thing. And I think, if you're not doing it that way, then that really does erode a lot of that potential trust you could have with your community. I think it is really the best approach. But yeah, thank you, Chris, for that question. So,
and Chris, you'll get 5 secret from our podcast node that will shoot you for being selected as a community spotlight question. And if you guys want to get involved and earn, while we're recording this, secret's pumping up. It's like $4.40 now, apparently.
What?
So that's over $20. So
I think when we started this, and it was at like $4.
we're giving that out weekly, and so get involved, earn your bounties. Like we're already giving out over $100 a month doing this. So dope, especially if you guys prove that we're your top delegation. The Secret Code podcast node, we'll double it and make it 10 secret. So we're trying to give back to the community. You guys have supported us, and we're really grateful for that. We do believe in for the community, by the community, and making your input our output. And we're trying to show that, really, really highlight that with the community spotlight bit.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, especially if we're your top delegation, 10 secret ain't too bad. So kudos, Chris. Thank you for the question, and hope you enjoy the secret. So now, for my very last question, I'd like to speculate. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit on SEFI's future. So in particular, more so on coins that will be available on the network. I was honestly looking through the available coins, and there are already so many bridges or planned bridges where I was struggling to come up with which coins I would like to see in addition to the ones that are not publicly yet planned. But I guess to start, could you talk about which ones you're most excited that aren't yet on the exchange that are planned?
Yeah. So
UST, Luna, Bitcoin,
Secret Luna. I honestly, I cannot wait till Shade and Silk. I'm a diehard believer. I want Silk pairings. I believe that is like both Silk and Secret UST should be the default global kind of stable coins, in my opinion. But I'm excited to finally reach out and touch the entire Cosmos ecosystem that we stem from and that we collaborate with. Like, I want DVPN, I want Akash. Like, I love those projects, and it's really difficult to purchase right now. And I'm actually really excited for what we're going to be offering the Cosmos ecosystem, because like I've got friends that use Osmosis and then they want to move stuff into SecretSwap, and it takes them a long time. And it's easier on the SecretSwap end because we've got the bridges and we're going to have more bridges. So we're actually like, we really are like continuing to grow that dream of being the privacy hub for all blockchains. And the more bridges we build, the more IBC integrates, the better and the easier that's going to be. So I'm excited to not only grow from connecting to our friends in the Cosmos ecosystem, but also grow our platform by offering them that accessibility.
Yeah, no, again, it's incredible just how many, because again, even when you look at some of these bigger chains like Terra, They have bridges to Binance, Ethereum, and I believe just one upcoming with Secret Network, And so Secret really does have all those and then some. I know that the Polkadot bridge is also basically just waiting for it to be, going live. I think it's been on testnet for a while. It's more so just some logistics thing on the Polkadot side, waiting for like these parachain auctions and everything like that to go through for Scheiden. But aside from that, you also have, isn't there like a rainbow bridge coming out? Like for like Near?
Which
one
is
is that
rainbow?
Hackathon project? There's a lot.
There's a lot. I know I've heard of one. I know the Terra Luna one. I know we're reaching out and we're trying to set something up for a Solana one. I mean, any big smart contract platform, like bring them in. Like, we don't have to be limited. Bring them all in.
What do you think about Cardano?
Cardano's already available in SecretSwap. It's got to be the Binance version because Binance has smart contracts.
That's what we'll leave it at that. All right. So for the next speculation question, how big do you think SeFi can get? In your opinion, is it a top 50 coin? Where do you think this can get?
That's fascinating. A lot of people think I'm crazy based on how bullish on Secret I am and have been. I've been public about believing since middle of last year that I'm like, Secret will be $40 by the end of 2021. And I still think we've got a 10x left in us this year. Like, I think we're on track, maybe higher. I mean, Guy Ziskin, founder and CEO of Enigma, was on Twitter talking about how he thinks we'll be a top 20 token soon. And that would put us at a price of about $80. And that's just for like the low end of that. I think that Secret Network's 100% the future. And I think that SecretSwap is positioning itself to be one of the most used decentralized applications, period. And so then it comes down to, like, we can get the usage, but then how do we value capture with a token? And I think that we have a lot of really, really good and solid metrics that will enable value capture for the SeFi token itself and give it a higher market cap. Right now, there's a total supply of down to about 995 million, and it's not perennially inflationary. Like, the tokenomics are interesting. So there are some things that things like Pancake Token can do where they're really centralized and they're inflationary. So they can keep injecting tokens on the different applications to incentivize usage that we can't do. But we're working on building solid self-sustaining models. And just the fact that we're going to get high usage and high volume and have volume-based captures and spread out and connect to different ecosystems. And I really do believe that we have solid value capture for the SeFi in the way that we plan to do all that. I think that we can absolutely be a top 30, top 20 token eventually. And I don't think that's going to be this year, but maybe 2022, 2023. And that's high. But
no, the sky's the limit, because there are definitely already, coins like Uniswap and PancakeSwap that are out there. And, a lot of these other competing coins, these DEXs really aren't differentiated enough, for people to really believe that they offer more value, and I feel like SeFi is in a unique position where it really does, the front running is a massive solve among, the actual financial privacy aspect, which is also just huge. But yeah, the privacy ethos is also very powerful. You have a very decentralized community. It really does feel like a very grassroots, this will thrive, this won't just survive, this will thrive. And I'm very excited to see where, we'll end up. So that will end the episode of, let's wrap it up with maybe a call to action. Could you tell people how they can get involved with SecretSwap?
Absolutely. So we have our own Telegram. I'll put it here in the link description here on the YouTube. If you're not watching this on the YouTube, if you listen to the whole podcast, thank you. But again, we're trying to do more videos now. So this is a video episode with me and Paul on YouTube. But both in the podcast and the YouTube description, we'll have the Telegram link. We'll have the Twitter page. And please just come reach out to us, get involved. If you're a developer and you want to help build this, just DM me, hit me up. We're actively hiring right now. We've got the dev pool. We've got plenty of things to build. More hands makes the burden light. Let's build faster. So come build, come get involved in our community. We've got a healthy community. And can't wait to meet more of you.
Yeah, definitely. And how could people reach you personally?
My Telegram handle is at Eric_Superman. capital E, capital S. I've been getting several impersonators, so if somebody DMs you and tries to get your private seat or something, it's hopefully not me. But I'm involved in pretty much all the Telegram channels. I'm very easy to find there. On Twitter, I am at Eric Weisanen. That's WAISANEN. On YouTube, you can see it here on the screen. And I Twitter, Telegram, Discord, I'm at eWeiss001. And you can find me on any of those socials.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric, for coming on the show. Thank you for being on the other side and for letting me host this episode. It was a pleasure. It was a fun experience. And I'm very excited for what's to come for the podcast, SecretSwap, and for the network. Very excited. Thank you for coming on.
I love cats, bro.
Thank you. It was an honor to be on this side of it. And I love what you're doing the podcast, bro.
Thank you for deciphering the secret code. For the community, by the community. New episodes every Sunday. Secret Sunday.
Thanks for listening. To support our podcast, delegate to the Secret Code podcast node. You'll be eligible for the Shade airdrop, which I literally can't stop talking about, and will make yourself eligible for the double bounty that Chris just got should you win the community spotlight. Also check out Fartles and follow at Eric if you want to pick up this sweet, and totally unedited pic of me in Iowa.